Hi there, I am Bero from the snowy Swiss Alps. I'm one of the principal architects working for Huawei's Open Source Technology Center on the Oniro Project. Oniro is an Eclipse Foundation project and working group aiming to unify the code base on all the consumer devices in our lives, regardless of whether they're using a small microcontroller running Zephyr, LightOS or FreeRTOS, or a much more powerful processor running Linux. In this video, we are going to take a closer look at the DoorLock Blueprint. As the name implies, this blueprint opens and closes logs. As part of the Oniro project, we built what we call blueprints, fully open devices that you can use either as they are or as a base for your own products. For example, we have a vending machine blueprint, a transparent gateway blueprint, a smart panel blueprint, and a touch panel blueprint. Let's take a look at what it's made of. Obviously we'll start with a breadboard and some breadboarding wires. Then we have an Arduino Nano 33 BLE board. That's the microcontroller that is running the main software. A driver breakout board that controls the log. A 12V DC power barrel. A matrix keyboard that is connected to the Arduino board through the GPIO pins. And we have this log style solenoid. For the sake of flexibility and avoiding vendor login, we also support multiple different log types. So you can replace the driver board with this chip and use a rotating motor instead of the solenoid. That motor can be used to rotate a more traditional bolt in place, or to drive a more complex locking mechanism like this. Lastly, we add a 12V DC power supply for the log and a USB power supply for the Arduino board. And of course, the power socket in the wall. Now we are missing just one more component, but maybe the most important component of all. It's the Oniro operating system, this time running on top of the Zephyr kernel, and of course the DoorLock software. Looking at all the code driving this, or explaining every wire on the breadboard is not something we can do in a short video. It's best for you to do that yourself. Look at it in as much detail as you like and at your own pace. Fortunately, we have a good website that shows you how to do just that. You can find our documentation website at docs.oniroproject.org. It has detailed information on both the hardware and software sides, including all the components you need to build it, even where you can get them, detailed instructions including pictures on wiring up the breadboard, or a schematic for those who are more familiar with electronics, and of course detailed instructions on getting and building the source code, flashing the resulting binaries to the board, and in the end using it. All the tools we are using are open source. In addition to the source code, we provide binary packages for many Linux distributions, from Debian to OpenMandriva to Arch, for all the prerequisite tools, so getting started should be easy. If you have worked with embedded Linux systems before, many of the commands you will run into in our examples will seem very familiar. For example, we're using Git, and we're using bitbake, which you will have used if you have ever used Yocto or OpenEmbedded, and the repositories are managed with repo, which you have probably used if you've ever looked at Android source code. Here at Oniro, we don't believe in reinventing the wheel, except maybe in some areas where the existing wheel more closely resembles a square. That's enough theory for now, so let's see our blueprint in action. When we first power it up, the LED on the Arduino board starts flashing, which means it's ready to learn the pin that will be used in the future to undock. Obviously that pin is stored in non-volatile memory, so even if a burglar manages to reboot the system, that doesn't help him. Let's pick a pin that is really secure, that nobody could possibly guess, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Since the system doesn't limit us in the length of the pin, we have to tell it we are done by pressing those two keys at the same time. Now the LED has stopped flashing. That means it's now operating in normal mode, waiting for someone to enter the correct pin. So if we enter something that's not the correct pin, nothing will happen. And if we enter the correct pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, our lock opens, we can open the door, and then it is automatically relocked. Of course, we can also change the pin. To do that, we enter the right pin to make sure it knows where we are allowed to do it, and we press our two special keys again. Now the LED starts blinking again, and we are ready to enter the new pin. One special feature is that the pin can include multiple digits pressed at the same time. So let's still use 1, 2, 3, 4, but 2 and 3 pressed at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are done. The LED stops flashing, and our old code of 1, 2, 3, 4 just won't work anymore. But 1, 2 and 3, 4 opens our lock. Being an Oniro Blueprint, this is the base for new projects and products. Our own, third parties, and maybe yours. And it will keep getting extended. A future plan from our side is integrating it with the other Oniro Blueprints, so you can unlock your door from the gateway, or automatically unlock an emergency fire exit door when a sensor board detects a fire. Another plan is adding more methods to drive the lock, such as a fingerprint sensor. Maybe a future version of the vending machine blueprint will support unlocking compartments containing products using the DoorLock Blueprint. But of course the most important feature of this all is that it is completely open source. The next key component is you. Maybe you want to turn this blueprint into something completely different. Maybe you have a much better idea than anything we've been thinking of. Like maybe you'd like to turn the DoorLock Blueprint into a dog toy that unlocks a box of treats if the four-legged friend manages to press the right key sequence on a more paw-friendly keyboard. I'm sure I know at least 2 people who would be very much interested to see your patches. Let us know what you are doing with our blueprints, and please share your extensions with others. There's a lot of further information you can find on the internet. For example, visit the Oniro website, or the website of the Oniro DoorLock Blueprint, our source code repositories, and of course meet our team on Mattermost, on IRC, or if that doesn't work, drop me an email. Thank you for your interest in Oniro.